When you've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, learning about your condition can be extremely overwhelming. So, us here at Lived Health, we want to help you learn more about your condition. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So, I know, Jessie, a lot of people, when they're newly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in particular, it's extremely overwhelming, which is totally understandable. So, what would you say to somebody that was newly diagnosed?
Yeah, I completely agree. Getting an MS diagnosis is extremely overwhelming. There's a lot of information to kind of get your head around. My biggest piece of advice is do learn about the disease. It is extremely beneficial to learn about all the different symptoms and how you can manage them. But my other piece of advice is try not to spend too many hours on the internet learning about the disease and reading up on different articles because you are going to go down a rabbit hole. That was me when I first got diagnosed. I remember being in hospital and staying up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, reading endless information on the internet. And then I couldn't sleep because it was just information going around and around and around in my head. And then obviously, if you can't sleep, that's going to affect your MS. So do try learn about it, but try not to get consumed on the internet about it.
Did you decide to start sort of educating yourself about MS right away, or was that something that sort of gradually and slowly started in your life?
I started learning about it straight away because when they first started talking to me about MS, the only thing that I knew was I was terrified. Do you know that sort of way? And I didn't want to be in a state of denial. I knew that the disease was extremely serious, and I didn't want to go into a denial state and not do anything about it. Um, so yeah, when I was first diagnosed, I straight away was trying to learn as much as I could about the disease. I think when you read up on it, or you just begin educating yourself on the disease, you're more in tune with your symptoms and you're less likely to kind of brush a symptom just away or pretend like it's not happening.
Absolutely. I mean, just an MS diagnosis or any chronic, right now, presently incurable progressive disease is a lot. It's huge. So, how do
Yeah.
you not become overwhelmed by it all?
That was me at the beginning of the diagnosis. And I do think there is a certain aspect at the beginning of the diagnosis where it is going to be overwhelming. The thing that stopped it becoming overwhelming was time. That was the best part for me, is actually just taking the time to come to terms with my diagnosis, accepting that I have this diagnosis, and actually just trying to get my treatment in place and trying to manage my symptoms. That's where it became less overwhelming because I was breaking it down and I was actually dealing with the whole diagnosis.
Do you focus on one area, Jessie, at a time to learn on? Or do you, for example, like sleep or bladder or diet, or do you kind of just go in and scan everything?
So when I was first diagnosed, I just went hell for leather trying to learn everything. But now I'm more so, I focus on one thing at a time. And I think it depends what symptom is affecting me at that point in time.
Personally, yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say I'm exhausted and I cannot get enough sleep. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about fatigue. So in that sense, yes, I do try and focus on one aspect or one symptom that's impacting me at that time. But I know at the beginning, I was just trying to learn everything.
I remember, Jessie, in the beginning of our chat, you said that you kind of like the science aspect of it. And I do too, where I feel like my body's sort of like a computer, like, wow, it's really doing weird things and I can feel things differently. And it's sort of fascinating.
Yes, it's super interesting. And I think actually understanding what your symptoms are or how they have happened, so interesting. And I think it's super beneficial to actually fully understand what's going on inside your body.
So, be it that we have MS and it's always there and it's always something in the back of our minds, how do you manage knowing that it's always there, but you're still continuing to live your best and fullest life?
So 110%, it absolutely does consume my thoughts now, more so at the beginning, um as opposed to now. I know when I was on treatments and I was taking that twice a day, so I had my MS thoughts that were there already, but then I was taking this daily treatment twice a day, and I was just having this like constant reminder that I have MS. I actually wouldn't want to know how many hours that I have spent in my life thinking about MS, because it does absolutely consume your thoughts. But again, I think that's something that gets a little bit easier over time.
Learning about your condition of multiple sclerosis is a lot. There's a lot of information out there. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. We at Lived Health want to help you answer those questions so you can feel more confident about navigating and managing your MS. So be sure to like and subscribe to all of our videos so you never miss a segment of our juicy MS info.